Time for my October TBR. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Zach with Zacks Books and welcome to Zocktober. Wow, it feels so salty to say that again. Okay, so this is day one of Zocktober. This video is going to be my TBR video for the month. As you will notice with a lot of these books, they are kind of short and more Halloweenish and spooky-ish. That's because, no duh, it's October. That's the whole point of the month. Also because of the reread that I have set up, which will be the last book you guys see. Another reason why I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter. We will have most of these linked down below if you're intrigued with any of them. Also down below is the podcast. That is still going strong. There's also going to be all the other fun, spooky stuff that we had last year. Again, if you have any video suggestions, let us know in the comments. We still have got some open slots for a few more things. We are hoping to get to 4,000 subscribers at the end of Zocktober at this point. Unfortunately, we didn't quite make it before Zocktober started. And if we ended up making it, then my wife will put something on the screen saying I'm a liar. So, but yes, we have got a TBR to show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me show you the spooky books. Alright, first up was a book that I was actually intending to read last year, but we could never find a copy, and we found a copy this past year. So that is Halloween Night, R.L. Stein. So I know really not a whole lot about this book. It looks really cool. Danielle has told me that it is a very popular Halloween book. I wonder why. And I believe Danielle might also try and read this book this month. Her TBR video will be coming out, I don't know, in comparison to mine, because mine has to come out the first. So this is saying, this party is a killer. Brenda hates her cousin Haley. Haley? It's probably Haley. And Brenda isn't the only one, because Haley keeps stealing other people's boyfriends. That hoe. So Brenda and her friends decide to plan the perfect murder, something to go along with Brenda's perfect Halloween party. Not that they're really going to kill anybody. It's just a joke, right? Ha ha. Okay, so that actually sounds pretty intriguing to me. Yikes. So that sounds really cool. I'm very intrigued with that. That sounds exciting. It doesn't really sound like an R.L. Stein book. I was about to say Stephen King. Man, I'm tired. I was just about to say that doesn't sound like an R.L. Stein book. Just because I just read Goosebumps, so like the thought of like murder in an R.L. Stein book's like freaky. That's weird. All right, well, there's book one for the TBR, Halloween Night, R.L. Stein. All right, next up is one of probably 30 more Goosebumps, and that is Attack of the Jackolanterns, R.L. Stein. So, cover looks really cool. Ooh, I didn't notice there's an owl. That's because the sticker covers it up. That's dumb. But yes, this is a Halloween-themed book. R.L. Stein has written a couple. You might see that in a video later this month. But yeah, this is, as far as I know, I remember the episode, but I want to say it's two friends. They go trick-or-treating, then there's these random, like, pumpkin head people, and yeah, the plot twist is really weird, but I don't want to give anything away, because I mean, it's a Goosebumps. Do I really care? Yeah, whatever. But yes, I'm planning to read this and probably a whole bunch of other Goosebumps. I'm hoping to get through the original 62 soon, so I can try and do a tier rank, maybe not a tier rank, but a ranking video by the end of October. And I gotta say, I probably gotta read another like 54 of them. So, very excited for that. But yes. Not a whole lot to go off of with this. It's a Goosebumps book. Blech. Alright, so we have Attack of the Jackolanterns, R.L. Stein. Alright, next up is the buddy read between Danielle and I. You saw this in yesterday's video. If you did not, check it out up here. Carrie by Stephen King. So, the original game plan for this was to do a reread reading vlog with it, along with the other reread book I was going to do. But then I kind of realized that this book is kind of short. and that would be kind of too short to really vlog unless I did another book with it. And I already decided I was only going to do 3 books, and now it's become a completely different idea. So, but you'll see it later in the month. But yeah, no, Danielle's going to read this book for the first time. It's her first Stephen King book. We were debating on what to pick, and I think just starting at the starting point just kind of makes sense. Wow, voice crack. But we'll definitely see how it goes. She'll let you know her thoughts on the book. She might pop up in a video, like a recent reads in the month. But yeah, if you don't know what this book is about, A, you're on the wrong channel. B, this is about a young woman named Carrie White who has got, I want to say it's the same abilities as Charlie from Firestarter. It's like pyrokinesis. She can like start stuff on fire. I don't know if she has no, actually she does have telekinesis too. She's got all sorts of weird, creepy abilities going on. Her mom's a religious cow and like is one of the like worst characters in like a Stephen King book ever. And like literally she just gets tormented by everybody in her school, and yeah, no. I definitely would recommend this book if you have not read it. I think I gave it 5 stars the first go around I had, maybe 4. I don't remember. It's been like 2 years, which is why I am rereading it. And Danielle's going to read it for the first time. So, yeah, there you... I just realized I didn't even say Carrie on the front of this book. That's funny. But yeah, there you have Carrie by Stephen King. Alright, another shorty but a goodie. More scary stories to tell in the dark. Collected from folklore and retold by Alvin Schwartz. Drawings by Stephen Gamble. Definitely not going to say that again at the end of this clip. But yeah, I read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark last year. I actually like forgot that there was like a second part to like the thing, and there's actually a third part to the trilogy, because obviously it's a trilogy. But there's really cool graphics, if I can find one. Yeah, there's like weird pictures that get drawn in this stuff. It's a really cool concept to just kind of like keep it like nice and eerie. I read they also made a movie off of this. Doubt I'm gonna watch it. But they there's another one. I think it's even more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark or something like that. I don't remember what the third one is. I might squeak that in when I read this, because I technically have the audiobook, because I read the first part and then they started playing this part and I was like, okay. But yeah, no, I don't really have like a plot to this. It's just spooky, scary stories. So it's as far as I know. So there you have more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by a bunch of people. Alright, next up is a book I was planning to read last year again, but I just simply ran out of time because there's no audiobook, so I would have had to physically read it. And as a lot of you probably know, I'm not the best physical reader. Danielle is, however, so I wish I had that ability. But that's Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney. Cameron, get an audiobook on this. But as far as I know, it's a spooky book, Halloween related. It's about this town. Every night is Halloween in Autumn Crow. It's this town, Halloween every day, like spooky season, 24/7. Like I want to be there. Danielle recommended this to me last year, and I also just like Cameron's stuff that he posts, and so I thought that reading his book would be a nice thing to do, and I definitely need to read this. So planning to get to this month. I'm really hoping I can this year. I believe I am a little bit faster of a physical reader now. But, yeah. So there you have Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney. Alright. So here comes the reread that I'm planning to do for October. The rereading vlog. I have 3 King books that I'm rereading this month. You guys know Carrie. The other one, I believe I'll just keep a mystery. It's going to be Misery. I'm not going to lie. Misery is the other one that I'm not going to be vlogging just because it is shorter and I feel weird just doing 2. So I felt like 3 was the right move, but I'm only going to vlog one of them. And the one that I'm going to vlog is one that I was planning to do last year, but then my list just got so massive and this book is so massive that I couldn't do it. And that is, oh my goodness, it's like stuck to the table. It. So last year, this got dethroned as my all-time Stephen King favorite book. That's a weird way to phrase that. And it got dethroned by Pet Sematary and The Shining, which I reread last year. It is a massive book. Even the paperback is super big. I mean, this book is notorious. Everybody knows it. If you don't, again, you're probably on the wrong channel. But this is about a group of losers in the 80s, I want to say. The 80s or the 90s. I think this... Oh, no, the miniseries was in the 90s. Yeah, it's in the 80s. And basically it's set up to be basically like these losers. They call themselves the Losers Club, so I'm not just calling them losers because they're losers. They're actually really cool people. But they end up becoming really good friends. They're in, I think it's high school or it's middle school. I think it's high school. They're in school together, whatever. And basically what ends up happening is they all are getting terrorized by this entity that they end up calling it. It's also known as Pennywise. It can take the form of basically your biggest fear. It becomes a horde of locusts, it becomes a mummy, it becomes a wolf, it becomes all sorts of different things. I think it becomes like a painting or something like that. It's like the creepiest book I had read to an extent when I first read this, and I definitely need to reread this book. Obviously with Misery, Carrie, and this being reread, my Stephen King top 10 or 15 or 20, whatever, is probably going to change. So I will probably have an updated list by the end of October. Probably one of the first couple weeks of November that would be out. But I really need to reread this book. I just remember it being so good, and I feel like it deserves some justice because it got dethroned as my top book. And we'll see how the reread goes. And you'll see that later this month. So there you have It by Stephen King.